Hello everybody and welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. In this video for the Guide to Leveling series, we're going to be talking about Keep 8. We're going to talk about the required buildings for Keep 8, the resource costs. We're going to think about the unlocked buildings and unlocked features that come around this stage of development. We're going to think ahead to future keep levels and some requirements that might be coming up. And I'm going to give you some general recommendations and commentary for this stage of the game. So let's get started. Starting off with building requirements. Now, this is still an early keep level, and the resource costs and the requirements are not so bad. It's an introductory stage of the game, so don't expect that to be out of the way, to be so much out of your way right now. There's walls 7 that's required, which is, the walls is required for every keep level. You have to have it at the max level every single time you want to upgrade your keep. The academy is also required. Your academy should be at level 7 to be able to upgrade your keep to 8. The requirements are in the 80,000s for the keep only. So again, very low. You're not going to be running out of resources anytime soon. The game provides quite a bit for the many of the first keep levels, so don't worry too much about resources there. And the resources for the other buildings, the Wall 7 Academy, in addition to the keep, is somewhere around like 100 and something thousand. I think it's 130,000 or so wood and food roughly. And then the stone will be, 40,000 less than that because it's a newer resource in some of the buildings. So it scales up as you go. So the requirements are not so bad so far. At this stage, you are also unlocking the Trap Factory, which is a building that produces traps that kind of attach to the walls of your kingdom. So when people attack you, some of their troops will take damage and potentially die. And you also lose those traps, and traps cost resources and so on. If you want to learn more about traps and the Trap Factory, then check out the building spotlight video for the Trap Factory. But generally, it's not the most useful building in the world. It is a requirement for a couple of stages in development, which we'll get to in the future, but definitely don't go out of your way to produce a lot of traps because they're really not all that great. Let's talk about the features that are unlocking around this point. So this is one of the most important features that you'll have encountered so far in the game, and it is unlocked when your walls reaches walls 8. Not necessarily when your keep gets to 8. So you have to get your keep to 8, and then you'll be able to upgrade your walls to 8. When that happens, you will unlock a feature called Patrol, and you'll find it on the walls itself. Now, Patrol is kind of a weird feature where you can pay gems to collect something that was on your wall that they patrolled for, and you can refresh with gold. And it doesn't seem like you get a whole lot of great stuff, but patrolling, I'll talk about this in the next video because it's really unlocked in, even though it's walls 8 and it's kind of keep 8, it's also something you'd be doing as a requirement for keep 9. So I'm going to talk about it extensively in the next video. But patrolling is one of the best ways to get monarchy gear, so it's definitely something that you are going to want to do. All right, thinking ahead. So I've been talking in every video about upcoming military technology requirements, and that continues. There's still a few more keep levels before we don't have to worry about research as a requirement to upgrade keep. So make sure that you are keeping on top of your military research. Army Camp 8 is a requirement for Keep 9. Now, Army Camp is the little building with all your resource tiles. It's not the Archer Camp. It's the little one down with your resource tiles with the wood and the ore, the stone, all that. You'll have one called an Army Camp that was a requirement that we had to build earlier to produce other buildings. You now have to get that building up to 8 to get Keep 9. Warehouse 9 is a requirement for Keep 10, and Warehouse is another one of those buildings that I say, even if it's not a requirement for the strategy that we're going to be doing here in these videos, I highly suggest that you keep that completely maxed. If you're not following my strategy to the letter, then you don't have to worry about it so much other than as a requirement, but That is something that we are going to discuss around Keep 11. I'm going to talk about the different branches you might take with your leveling strategy. Hospital 10 is required for Keep 11, and that's about as far thinking ahead as I think we need to do right now. So let's talk about general recommendations. I've talked about the prioritizing military research, so just make sure you're going down that tree, keeping your academy leveled up as much as possible so that you can unlock those lower tiers and work your way down. Remember, you don't have to complete every single piece of research, and I mean by going down the tree, you only have to research like 5 of each tier, or maybe 8 when you get to the lower ones. You don't have to do it up to 20 every time. So just do the bare minimum requirements to get to the next tier and work your way down. And then when you have extra time, when you've locked that off for as far as you can go with your current Keep and Academy level, then move over to the Advancement tab and work on construction speed, research speed, resource production, those sorts of things. Cultivating Cleopatra for leadership. You have 4 different things you can cultivate within any general. The reason that I'm saying only focus on leadership is because Cleopatra is going to primarily be used to send her as a boss chest collector in alliance rallies. She's not going to be doing any damage. She's not going to be doing anything other than just collecting the boss chests. So you don't need any stats, any cultivation beyond leadership. You can leave everything out. You're going to send Cleopatra with 1 troop, 5 troops, 10 troops, nothing significant. Foot soldiers and cavalry only to some kind of boss rally, and the higher her leadership, the faster she marches. So she's going to spend less time traveling back from marches that went out to boss rallies, and you'll be able to use her more frequently for that double drop. So make sure you are cultivating her leadership up to whatever the cap is at that point. All right, and remember, there is going to be a cap. So if it's like her normal stat is like 180, you'll only be able to cultivate an extra 180. So you got to wait until she levels up to continue cultivating her. So don't keep refreshing, and you're not doing anything. If your server has the Arch of Triumph unlocked, you can make sure to get those flower rewards every day for some stamina, speed ups, and so on. Complete the daily activity every day for just some helpful rewards. It is useful to get that done, and if you can make it all the way to the end, you can also get a fragment to get a chance at a general, or at least just a fragment that you can collect for a general eventually. And lastly, I wrote here that you can consider building tier 1 troops for gatherers. I say that with a caveat: don't build much. Build very little. I would say even build the 500 or 1,000 that you're going to do every day for the daily activity, but don't go beyond that because they're going to die. If you're following my strategy, they are going to die. We don't want them. We're purposely going to wound them so they go to the hospital because we don't want the extra food production. So don't go out of your way to build a whole lot. Build a little bit for gathering, build for your daily activity. And when I say build, I mean train, of course. Train for your daily activity, but beyond that, not really necessary. All right, and just like every other video, I want to have a shout out for all the channel members. Thank you very much for supporting the Miser's Guide to Evony. And even if you're just a subscriber and you like videos, that is awesome too. But definitely an extra shout out to the channel supporters. And if you do want to become a member of the channel, there's a join button that you can click and check out the perks, even all the way up to the highest level where you can get some individual one-on-one support with me on how to grow your kingdom. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.